Okay, we are live. I'm going to test right now my sound quality. I'm just going to keep talking, and I don't really know how it is because I got a new PC set up. Um, so basically, like, the fans in this thing are much louder than they used to be. So this time I'm going to check and see what it's like, and we'll see how everything goes. So I'm gonna check right here. Let's see. So I'm gonna just keep talking and see what's going on right now. I just want to make sure that the sound is working. So I'm testing it on my phone. I want to make sure that everything is good. Alright, here we are. Alright, let's see. Here we are. Let's see how this goes. You know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out right here. I'm going to put it in my big headphones and see what the quality looks like. So let's take this guy and see what's going on here. Alright, I'm just going to keep talking. See what this sounds like. I'm just talking, testing it out right now. Alright, I think the mic needs to go up in volume a little bit. Let's see. It's still pretty quiet. Still really quiet. That sounds a little bit better. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds a little bit better. It's a pretty solid point. I can hear the music okay. I'm going to turn it up a little bit more, and I'll turn up the music a little bit too. Let's keep going. Alright, so I'm just going to see if this goes. I think that sounds pretty good. Yeah, that sounds good. Alright, I think we're at a good setting right now. Okay, so that's fine. I'm just gonna plug in here again. It's jacked in. Wow, it's much louder on mine, actually. So I'm gonna turn that up a little bit. Alright, cool. I can't hear myself talk, but I think the sound actually sounds pretty good because I was testing on my phone. I turned the music down a little bit, hopefully, but I also turned up the music volume a little bit, so I think it kind of equalized. So hopefully the music is okay. I hope I don't get muted because I'm kind of using some music that might get muted, so hopefully that doesn't like interrupt the stream, you know. Okay, so alright, where did I leave off last time? So right now I want to actually go through this application. Last time I was on here, I was trying to install MongoDB onto a Linux system, and so that's what this is right here. So I'm going to put that right there. Yep. And then, actually, let me pull up Restream Chat. So let's make sure that's good. Run it. Run it. Okay, cool. Ugh. Yes. Alright, dope. Chat is working, I believe. It never really wants to connect to Facebook, but Facebook doesn't really ever have much. So, alright, dope. Okay. So, last time I was on here, I was doing this thing. I think I want to make sure that I have MongoDB set up. So let's just keep going with that. What was the last command that I entered here? So sudo apt.get update. So let's see. Okay, so I was on step 3. So I'm gonna do. Oh, I didn't install. So okay, the next step here is actually to install. So I'm just gonna install that. Okay, so put the password in. Nope. Alright, so it looks like MongoDB is now installing. And then I think the next thing I want to do is actually like link to my GitHub. So I don't know, do I have a Git in here? So the directory that I'm working in is cc web app. Don't have a Git, so I'm gonna have to make a Git. So should be the same commands as making it in any other repository, making any other repo. But I'm still like kind of new to this kind of stuff, so you know, once I get it down more, I'll probably be a bit more respectable in terms of but yeah. Alright. Dope. Okay, so MongoDB should now be installed. I don't want to install a specific release. I installed the latest one, which I guess is not necessarily a big deal, but let's start it up. So I'm going to do sudo service mongod start. What? That should be the right command. Sudo service mongod start. I know before it was just like mongod and it worked. Okay, so MongoDB, blah 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 blah. What? So okay, so minus blah blah blah. These limitations negatively impact MongoDB. So you. I think it's just kind of weird because it like should work if I just do this, but mongod is an unrecognized service, so whatever. So I'm gonna do sudo mongod start. How about that? Okay, that didn't work at all either. So how about we do mongod start? How about that? Nope. How about mongod? Nah. And that's what I used before for it to start. It's weird. It's not like starting right now. I remember I had to do something before. Mongo. Connection failed, yeah, because the server's not started for some reason. So MongoDB starting exceptions in init and listen. Non-existing path data directory data be not found. Terminating. Now exiting. Okay, so I did something wrong with the installation path. So perhaps I did not actually install it correctly. You change the user that runs MongoDB process, you must modify the access control rights. I'm just gonna Google this exception real quick here because I don't know exactly what I did wrong. Oh, I don't think I made the directory. I'm gonna try this command, even though this might like be totally ridiculous. Okay, so maybe what I should do is actually make a directory first. So I'm gonna go back, and then I'm gonna make a directory, just because I think maybe my issue is that I didn't make a directory before. So key data/db data permission denied. Okay, how about this? With that. Okay, cool. And then how about okay, so now I'm gonna try the actual MongoDB command, the one that they gave me, to see if that changes anything. So no. So instead I'm gonna do okay, so that also didn't work, so I'm gonna do this here. Okay, so how about that? Okay, so I think that worked. So right now I just actually, all I had to do to actually get MongoDB to actually start was to make the /data/db directory in the file path that I was working in. So apparently that worked and we're good. So the next step, actually I want to make another page. So unfortunately I'm not very good at that, so I'm just going to open another Ubuntu instance and just overlay it for now. Even though maybe that's not the best idea. So let's see, where are we at? Alright. We are at home/Justin. I don't know. Actually, I'm just gonna do cd so I can get directly to the path that I want to be, because usually this one starts me at the path that I want to be at. I should be able to open another tab with this though. I mean, I'm used to being able to doing that like in like Linux, or not Linux, but I'm sure Linux can do it, but in Mac. And I use a Mac daily, so it's kind of weird it's not working. Anyways, I wonder if I do this. Actually, okay, so I'm going to run bash. Alright, cool. So now I'm at users, so I'm going to do cd. Okay, I can't actually remember which ones I had. So cd projects. Okay, cool. I'm going to clear that, and then alright, cool. So cd, actually, cd cc web app. Oh shit, I actually made it in the cc web app. I actually wanted to make it in the scheduler one. Shoot. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my existing guy here, and I'm going to close this out. And then I'm going to cd back out, and I'm going to do sudo mk directory /data/db. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it one. I mean, I guess I could technically, but I would rather just keep two different databases for different applications. So I'm going to do cd scheduler, because that's the app I want to work on right now, and I'm going to do make directory. What kind of directory do I want to make? I'm going to make a directory for /data/db. Sark. Oh, it exists already. Oh yeah, you know what I actually should have been doing? So I'm gonna actually ls. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna look up my GitHub real quick, because I have a GitHub that I want to import. so I'm gonna clone that. I'm just gonna actually just download it because I'm a noob. Sometimes I wish I could just drag and drop it into the terminal. I'll just keep my file paths a little bit more private. So schedule dash master. I need to delete the dash master part. But if I go to this PC and I go to my hard drive, and I go to users, then I go to Justin, and then I go to my projects, I can then delete the scheduler app because I didn't make any progress on Windows, and then I will drop scheduler in here. It's actually surprisingly big. I didn't know it was actually that big of an app. Okay, so I'm going to rename it just scheduler, and yes, okay, cool. So then all I have to do now is actually move into scheduler. So cd scheduler. That was not scheduler, so scheduler. And then I'm going to do git init. So initialize the empty git repository at that. Yes, okay, cool. So now I'm going to clear this out. And then, so now I have the git repository set up. So now actually it should be a lot easier for me just to update from now on if I have a git repository here that I can just kind of update to. So let's go back. Yeah, okay, cool. So everything is kind of set up. I don't really need to mess with GitHub anymore because I have the most latest thing downloaded on my computer. And actually, this one should have a database put into it somewhere. It better, like I thought I did. Let's just see. Actually, I don't think I did. I'm gonna try and type it. So I'm gonna do like, I'm just gonna do sudo mongo. See if that works. It might be using the pre-existing database that I made within the other project. So I'm gonna actually clear that out, and then I'm going to delete the prior database where it was, because it was over here. Was it over here? Where did I even make it? Huh. I don't even know where it is anymore. Let me do this. Yeah, well, whatever. I guess it's kind of existing within the projects directory at this point. Whatever, it doesn't matter at this point. If it works, it works. I'm not going to complain. Well, I mean, if I ruined where my directory was, I'm just going to say, oh god. I don't really actually need to start my thing, but there's no reason why I don't have to, so I'm just going to say, oh god. What's the issue now? Oh, because I'm not within the domain directory. Okay, so, okay, fine. Okay. I think it's like a hidden directory that's within my projects. So if I go into scheduler, say MongoDB. Well, that didn't work either. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and I'll say data/db. It exists. Okay, so MongoDB. What's the problem now? Okay, well, I messed something up. I think the problem was is there's a read-only thing. That's what it's telling me. So I guess that's what I did wrong. Weird. I see. Because okay, so what my problem was is I made it writable only by me, and so what the other person was when I was looking at their Stack Overflow post was that when you make a directory for MongoDB, you want to make sure that's writable if you're using Ubuntu or something. You want to make sure it's writable by any user because I guess MongoDB is going to be a user that's going to be writing to that. You know, it's a database. It's going to be doing that. So I guess that's the problem. Anyways, that should work. That should fix it. All right. So now if I type mongod biscuits didn't work. Okay, fine. All right. I see you. I see you. Fine. Whatever. It's cool. It's cool. Let's just try it again. Let's just try what they throw at me without reading it. Let's see. Be ignorant. Ignorant. I'm just gonna be ignorant. Okay, well, my ignorant status worked. So, cool, it's working. I'm just gonna kill that. And then we're gonna move into scheduler. So we can finally start. Actually, so the main thing that I wanted to do right now is actually just read about this program that I'm working on. So kind of have to bear witness. Actually, I need to kind of censor something that you can't look at because it's kind of private. There is a private function that should not be shared online at the moment. This is it. Alright, so I'm going to take this file. Actually, I don't ever have to go into this file, so I'm just not going to look at it. Cool. Actually, I don't want to risk clicking on it, so I'm just going to take it out and then put it somewhere else. So, here. Copy that. Delete it. And then I'm going to paste it here. Okay, well, I'm going to Control Z what I did last, and I'll paste it, and then I will delete it. So I don't want peeps be looking. Cool. Oh. Cool. Alright. Dope. Okay. Alright. Alright, so next step here. Next step. I need to read about this stuff. I'm gonna add stupid comments for myself so it's easier to read. So I want to check if it's all numbers. They say error student ID, so error student ID basically means it's not all numbers, so not an ID. So we're raising a runtime error, so that's interesting. So runtime, where does this go? I don't know. Self. So, okay, so if it doesn't get through that, then student ID is set. And then otherwise the exception is thrown and it raises this error and prints out. Okay, so then get student ID self, so get student ID, so self dot underscore student ID. Interesting, so this just returns the student ID, so it takes the object, the underscore student ID object and returns it, so this is basically takes, I'm not super familiar with high-level like good quality Python, so I'm just trying to learn it right now by reading through this code that my good friends have written. So it basically takes the SID object and returns it. It's very similar to how a Java function does that. Okay, so password is spelled wrong here, so I'm gonna probably fix that. It's not spelled correct. So I want to go back through the code and fix these. So long-standing, thing is, this code that I'm right now is doing. I'm basically doing a code review. So this is not really fair for people who are tuning in. But if you guys have questions, I'm just doing a code review right now, and it's just going through this code for an application that we're making for our school right now. So they didn't spell password right, but I'm doing a code review, so it's harder to read code, in my opinion, than it is to write it. So I feel like they must have seen this difference somewhere. Maybe this is planned. Alright, login, makes user login. So, login time. Interesting. Okay, so I don't know what this does. I don't know. So, request session, I don't know where that is. So, that must be another function in here. Or, yeah, so that's a request session. Interesting. So looks like when you do login and underscore login time, that's interesting. So login time, so check status, apparently, so check login status. Login status true for login, false for logout. I see. So basically it's a door. He's got a switch going here. So if the login worked, then it's true. Otherwise, it's not true. And then I guess the timeout period is 3,600 seconds. And if that doesn't go through, then it's timed out. Using the time module, time.time minus self dot login time. There's a timeout time. So time.time minus self.login time is greater than, so if the current time minus our set login time is greater than the timeout time and the self logout status, so I'm guessing that so if the self login time and time, so self login time, so login time sounds like it is a Boolean value. Interesting. Okay, so basically, login time is a bool that returns true if less than log out time, I think is basically it. Something like that. And then, so if the login time is not true, if the time is not working, so I'm guessing if it's past the login time, so if we go to login, right, and if it's past the login time, so if it's not the login time, which is a standard, right, there's a set standard for the login time, it returns, it said, okay, we're going to call request session. So if we request the session, we're basically checking what the fuck this guy's doing. I see. So we're starting a session. Okay, interesting. Interesting. A lot of the logic's already put in here, so it checks the session. So log out is the opposite. So make user log out. So if self request page get that specific thing. Interesting. Okay, and then init. What is init? Where's init at? I mean, it's probably gonna be at the front, right? The first one. So basically starting the session. So if I log out, then I initialize. Okay, so basically when I log out, I'm reinitializing myself to a base state where I don't have any information stored. If that makes sense. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. And then if I request, let's see, check status, checks login status. Okay, this hasn't been called before, but what I'm assuming is that login status basically has a timer on it. If the timer goes out, it's going to reset the session by requesting a session. So the session, I'm assuming, is going to have bulk of the code right now. I'm assuming it's going to have the bulk of the code. Okay, I need like a minute. Give me a minute here. I'm going to mute myself. Let's do that. So go back here. I'm back. So I'm going to now do request page get. Okay, so request page get request from website only login sleep for wait time per request. It will try to request by max try time. Default is 3. These comments, someone did not want to write these. Alright, so next step is to, if not self-check status. Is that up here? Okay, check status. Okay, so basically I think what it does is if the status is bad, then it doesn't request a page. Which is interesting. It's a good practice. I didn't even know that you should do that, but it looks like you want to request a status before you start this. So basically, ask if the request is good, because you don't request constantly. Okay, that's smart. Makes sense, because otherwise, if you're doing that, you're consistently requesting. As soon as you're on that page, you're like, going for it. And so there's a counter. It's like, okay, are you doing it? Okay, not logging yet. Okay, raise runtime error, not logging yet. Okay, cool. Okay, interesting. So then, I'm assuming this takes me somewhere else. The runtime error. So try time is equal to 0. So while try time is equal to 0, or page.status code is not request code okay, try time plus equals 1. So basically we're going through this thing. I don't know if that's the best way to do this, so I'm going to put a comment here and say, is this the best method? Because I feel like that's not, kind of seems weird, like, I don't know where the script is running, right, but it might be faster or different speed. I don't know if it's the best method. I could be totally wrong, I probably am. Alright, so time.time minus self-last request time is greater than the request interval. Time sleeps self.request interval minus time.time minus self.last request time. Self.last request time is equal to time. Page is equal to self_session.get request link. Request exception HTTP error as E. Print HTTP error E. Accept request exception error connection error as E. Error connecting. So there's basically a timeout error, request error, HTTP error, request exception. So I'm assuming we're going to try for the page. We want to print a page out, right? So page is equal to self.session.get request link. So I don't know what the request link is, but there's something here that's telling us that. So a link for any login page. So if we want to get to the login page, that we have to have the session's going to call it, the session object for some reason is going to call a request link. Okay, interesting. So if I get through all of that, I say page.status code not equal to request code. Okay, try. Okay, so if that doesn't work out, then try time is greater than self max try time, raise runtime error, open page error tried, and tried the try time times. Okay, so we say we tried it, didn't work. Okay, so page encoding is equal to UTF-8, page decoding is equal to UTF-8. Okay, cool, whatever. Okay, return the page. So okay, so if we get through this whole thing, we get a page object. That's the glory. So basically, if this passes the try, then give page object, i.e. login page. Okay. Dope. Okay, so request session, and then this is request page get. Okay, so request session. I think we call request session in here. Okay, so we're going to the login page for the application. This is the, looks like this is the JSON that they want. So if you give this information, you get information. Sorry, there was a, you know, some nasty bug. Login status is equal to true, so if I get past this, then I'm okay. And the session request, time, okay, timeout, error raised. Where am I even at right now? I'm right here? I'm in the middle of this shit? Damn, this is a long ass script. Damn, I'm gonna reload this. Duh. There's so much information on here. Login. Select quarter, grab quarter, get course data, get course initial, get quarter, process line. That's not very descriptive. Process a line to save or course match initial dict in course data dictionary. Fetch data. Okay, so this grabs the data. This is a lot of really weird information going on right here. Alright, well, oh god. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna have to ask one of my execs. I can do this. I don't need help making it. I got this. Looks like data fetch is the main logic of the entire thing. The main logic is going to be in here. So I don't like they have a data fetch and they have the init, right? So the init data fetch and then the Firebase actually, they don't really need looks like the Firebase is to connect to the database from the other application side. This is the other application side logic, which makes sense. Alright, so I guess that's worth reading through. The GUI, though, is not useful. I mean, it kind of is, because it really underscores how the implementation's put through, and this is, I will take this and alter it so that it works for AngularJS. Okay, I need to do a bio break, so I'll be right back. Okay. well, I'm just gonna kind of document myself doing this. This is a little too loud, and this isn't really music I'm feeling that much. It's kind of too low key for me at this moment. Oh yeah. Yeah. What's the best way to go about how should I go about posting from here using this data? I have to like end up calling it to make the session stuff and doing all that junk. I have to be able to call the functions. I have to be able to call the functions. I have to be able to call the functions. What should I do? I have my server, my schedule app. I think I should nest. Oh, I should probably activate. So, how to activate another? It's like source. It's like source something. Yeah, okay, so source. Okay, okay, so source. Why does that not work? I should be able to activate that Python environment. Weird. Sad. Okay. I cannot do this anymore. ATM. I'm stopping the stream.